So last month I attended VidCon Anaheim 2025. This video is going to consist of me talking about my experience and showing some of the footage I recorded while I was there. Since VidCon didn't add a text box where I could freely voice my opinion of my thoughts this year in the event in the survey they sent me, I will also be voicing some of my thoughts on the conference and how it has evolved over the years towards the end of the video. And also I went on some other tangents I hadn't originally planned for this video when I wrote the script, so. This year is the second year I attended VidCon. The last time I attended was in 2023. As someone who grew up spending most of my time on YouTube, VidCon was something I always wanted to attend and dreamt of attending, and in 2023 I attended. It was my first time traveling and the first experience was amazing, so I just decided to go again. I didn't go in 2024 because I got like super depressed, and also I didn't have a job for most of the year, but yeah. So on June 18th, 2025, I got up at 3 in the morning to catch a flight from where I'm from in the Northeast to California. My flight wasn't until 7 in the morning, but I still had to get up and do a bunch of things. The flight wasn't too bad. Long. I had a layover in Chicago. Got back on a plane in Chicago, landed in LAX, got my luggage, caught a shuttle, went to the car rental, picked up a car, and then I went to my hotel. On the first day of the event, they have like kind of like a, what's the word? It's like a reception. And they don't like have like the full event going on. They kind of just like, they have the patio of the Anaheim Convention Center, and they have like food trucks for like after you pick up your stuff for like your credentials, like your badge and stuff. Like you can just go and chill out in the festival area, which is pretty cool. So on the actual first day, on the 19th, Thursday, it was pretty much like most, I mean, it's technically a conference. I refer to it as a convention. It's very convention-like. I don't know if there's really a difference. You know, walk into the expo hall, there's a ton of booths everywhere. It's pretty interesting. A lot of people, a lot of bustling, you know. So, at VidCon, usually like the different platforms, YouTube, TikTok, all of that, they have like their own little like booths and like exhibits that you can go to. One of them was like a little YouTube Shorts booth. It was like this like room they built in the middle of the expo hall. You walk in, there's like a few different sections, and like they did little things where it was just like showing you different shorts you can make, and they would like display them on the wall. I didn't spend much time in there. I just kind of walked in, looked around at it. There was this really cool little cheetah thing on the ground. Look at this guy. Yeah. He's so cool. But yeah, I spent like a lot of time there also just kind of like walking around and seeing what was going on. This feels awkward filming as if I'm not literally at VidCon. There's like a whole thing going on over there, but I don't know what it is. I'm also waiting for my friend in the bathroom, so. A lot of the stuff that they had was like kids themed almost, like a lot of like toy stuff. They had like a Disney booth, like a Disney Plus thing, I think, like Disney Channel, Disney Plus. They also had like, I forgot what it was. I forgot what those were called. They had like something next to, there was like a, so there was like a little like area where it was like Furby themed. Editing Kendra here. I just want to say real quick, I figured out that they're called Nanimals. When I started talking about the Furbies, I kind of got distracted and I didn't acknowledge what I was forgetting. But anyway, like I don't know if they like sponsored or what, but like you walked over, you got in line, there was a giant Furby on the dance floor. And then you kind of wait in line, go through, and they had 2 claw machines. Sorry, there's a fly. They had 2 claw machines set up where you can go and like win a Furby. That was pretty cool. While I was like over in that area, I also noticed this giant like inflatable dude.
I love how I like completely forgot to put this thing. That? I don't know, but it's like huge and like, look at it.
I didn't know who J-Man Curly was until VidCon. Tons of kids walking around, like, who were a huge fan of him, and it was one of those things where it's like, am I not hip anymore? Like, who is this person? Yeah, I didn't know this guy was like associated like with J-Man Curly stuff. There was a coffee place in the convention center called Eco Grounds. It's pretty cool. My best friend and I went there last time back in 2023, and we wanted to go again, so.
This place right here has like really good coffee. Yeah, I got a caramel macchiato. Yeah. And then I also got a mocha one day too. Yeah. But yeah, no, it's really good.
You gave me
My
your
name is
right?
Andrea now, apparently. I'm gonna have to start using that. I'm gonna have to start using Andrea places, yeah.
After getting our drinks from Eco Grounds, we decided to go hang out in the Arena Plaza, a section of the convention center. They didn't have it this year, so that was an area that was included in like the event area, which I found interesting, but it was kind of nice because there wasn't really anyone hanging out there, so we could just go and chill. I wanted to get like a shot of like walking through here because I like the way this looks. I just remembered my business card.
Oh look, it's the hotel we should have stayed at.
Yeah. Oh well. Would have been cheaper. But it had a better door.
No, because how are you gonna have a bathroom door that just doesn't completely, not even just has a crack in it that you can see through, but where you can just look directly into the shower? There's a lot of people over here.
We've been hanging out here for like an hour or so. It's so relaxing. Look at the fountain.
After hanging out in the Arena Plaza for a bit, we decided to go back to the actual event to do something related to the event. And then we actually decided to get in line for the Furby claw machines. Yeah, I didn't win one. And it made me really sad, but you know. So there's this thing that VidCon does every year for however long. They did it in 2023. They probably did it last year. They did it again this year. It's called VidCon After Dark. So this year their first VidCon After Dark event was like the VidCon opening ceremony, where they did like a few different things. They had magic acts, they had CG5 perform, but they also had their first VidCon Hall of Fame event, which was kind of like fun for me because it included a lot of YouTubers I watched when I was younger. But it was also like interesting because there was a lot of kids this year attending the event, and a lot of these people didn't know, like these kids didn't know who these Hall of Fame inductees were. It was kind of funny because it was very much a whole thing of, am I getting old? Because these kids didn't know who this was, and I didn't know who the person they came to see was. So it was just interesting. So on day 2 of the event, we went back and we did a lot more like exploring of like just the different booths that they had there. Just a lot of like the same thing, walking around, exploring. Now, VidCon likes to do this thing where they set up like, I don't know if it's like a whiteboard. It was a whiteboard in the past, I'm pretty sure, but it's like a big wall that you could like, they put markers out so people can write on them, and I wrote like, I was plugging my stuff. Like, I wrote my YouTube name, right? I wrote my TikTok out on the first day, went back. It was still there. I wrote my Instagram handle the second day, you know, to like promote.
Where are we going for the event?
Where did I write my? It was like, there it is.
But I also, this year, I made little business cards, but I was like too awkward. Like, I didn't want to hand them to people. So I just started leaving them in different places.
Working real hard to plug my stuff.
And not long after that, we got back in line for the Furby thing. And this is how that kind of went for me.
Guys, they gave the giant Furby a break today. Guys, we're going through the Furby line again. I didn't get one. I will get one. I'm gonna go through this line and they're gonna be like, have you been here before? And I'm gonna be like, no. Oh my god. Yes! Okay. Thank you. Anyway, I don't need this anymore. I secured the bag. I don't want it. Is this recyclable, you think? Paper?
I'm sure it is.
Flow. My unboxing. Anyway, here's my Furby unboxing. Open. There's tape on it. There we go. There's instructions. I'm gonna take their instructions myself.
How to turn it off.
Huh?
We gotta turn it off.
Hold on. I don't know. I can't find it.
Yours is already talking.
Huh?
Yours is already talking.
It looks like a butt. What? I want the propeller hat on.
My propeller hat.
Yeah. I look iconic. Anyway, that was that. Respect the drip, Karen. Anyway.
But yeah. And then we went back to Eco Grounds to get another drinky drink. This time I got a strawberry acai refresher.
That's because they love me. I got a strawberry acai refresher. And I got my name right today.
I didn't.
While they may have gotten my name right, correct. While I may have gotten my name correct that time, they actually got my best friend's name wrong. So, which is funny. And we decided to go upstairs to explore more up there. So the track that I went with this year was the creator track, which basically, like, it gives you access to more things, and, like, a lot of those things are, like, panels and, like, keynote speakers and, like, people trying to, like, tell you about, like, this is how you can do an intro. This is how you can work on monetization and stuff like that. Here's how to make a good thumbnail. Basically different things to help aspiring creators. In the past, VidCon had it so that second floor of the convention center was all creator only, but this year they had it so it was like the very end was still community track, and then you had to walk through like a security checkpoint. So my best friend and I went to go explore the second level and check out some stuff up there.
Guys, they changed the way the escalators go. Yesterday that one was going up and this one was going down, and I might fall just trying to record this right now.
I'm freaking out, man. Why are the escalators?
I'm freaking out, man. I'm scared. Guys.
Where's the ducks?
I need an emotional support duck.
And I'm like, that's cute.
There was a person walking around yesterday with ducks, handing them out to people, but we didn't get to see them because they were on the opposite escalator. What events are going on over here? Oh, this is where they're doing VidCon After Dark today. Yeah, no. There's not really anything going on that I'm necessarily interested in. But that's okay. I can see my house from here. I don't know if you can see the bubbles or not. Me trying to get the bubble. There we go. Okay, it's gone.
On the second level, and we were in like the creator track only area, they had kind of like a little like YouTube creator lounge thing. I thought it was kind of cute because they have like cool little like event thing up like for the creator track people. They had like a few different little like games and stuff you can play up there, and it was cool because we got little like tickets where you can then go and like cash them in for stuff. I ended up getting like a keychain with like little charms. That is now my keychain that I use for my own keys.
I love it. It's way
It's like a little place here.
It's up here to tag. It's like.
got free shit too hard, and now I have to go back to the hotel at some point to drop everything off and come back, so that I am not carrying a ton of things. I'm like standing outside of the bathroom waiting for my friend, recording myself, and people keep coming in and out, and I'm just like, as if this isn't literally VidCon. Crazy, right? Anyway. What was it, like a YouTube Shorts room? So there was some YouTube room in the creator only, or not creator, but like creator track above area. And there's a section in the middle where it's like, talk to an expert about whatever. And so I go there and I talk to this guy. I talked to two guys, but I talked to this guy. I didn't have a question, so I was just kind of like asking general stuff. And then he asked me for my channel, and I was just like, and it just got like really awkward, and I'm like, But I got cotton candy, so.
On the third day of VidCon, I didn't really record much. It was very much at that point, like we had meet and greets, both like back to back. So most of our morning was that, and then the rest of it was very much just repetitive walking around, seeing what's going on. I kind of took a second to record just at the end, like the festival area in like the like Arena Plaza. They had an event there, and after it was over, I just kind of walked around recording that just because I kind of like the vibe of just like final night of like a 3 to 4 day event.
Hey guys, if this is closed, you gotta come out. You can't cross the line. If there's a rope,
What do you do?
I do art content. Anything cutesy.
Okay, that sounds so. How do you know you play? You know what they're probably gonna make.
After VidCon was over, I still kind of spent like another 2 days in California, which the day after the event, we were kind of chilling. We had originally planned to go to Santa Monica, but somebody like advised us from heading up to like the LA area. Like advised us against going up there for a few different reasons, which you can probably assume if you've seen anything. I feel like a lot of tourists going to that area probably wouldn't have helped. Or maybe it would have, I don't know. But yeah, so we were gonna hang out and go to the pool at our hotel, but some things kind of lined up where we weren't gonna do that. So instead, my best friend and I went to go get tattoos. It was like a very last minute thing too. It was just like, what are we gonna do today? Oh, I don't know. We were just hanging out in Anaheim. It was like, oh, I don't know. It's like, you wanna go get tattoos? It's like, yeah, sure. So me being me, I got the YouTube play button permanently tattooed on my arm because why wouldn't I? YouTube is a very big part of who I am as a person, even though it's just like not even from like a creator perspective. Like I'm still new to this, but like just like generally it is very much who I am. But also it was just like I was just like, I came out here to go to VidCon, get something related to that, why not? And then on our last day in California, we went to Long Beach. We went to the aquarium, which was pretty cool, the Aquarium of the Pacific. We walked around for a bit, went to go look at the Queen Mary.
It's not a panorama, it's a video.
And then we went to go get dinner at Hooters. I understand that Hooters' whole thing is not exactly food. People don't go to Hooters for, there's a beetle in my room. People don't go to Hooters for the food, but I get that, but it was just bad. The food was so bad. That drive back to our hotel, that like 40-minute to an hour drive is probably the longest drive I've ever had to take. My stomach, the way I almost shit. But yeah, just generally, this trip was kind of cool for me. It was my second time, like, flying on a plane to travel somewhere far. It's also the second time I've been to California. I have a good time mostly. Every time I go, I enjoy going out there. It's nice. There's palm trees. Weather's nice. The whole vibe is different from what I'm used to. But now it's for the fun part of the video. My experience and thoughts for this year's VidCon. I just wanted to give a quick little like disclaimer. Obviously, I don't know everything that goes on behind the scenes for VidCon. Everything I'm about to say is my own opinion. It's based off of my own experience. It's based off of things I've seen. But yeah. So like I mentioned, I've only gone to VidCon twice in my life. I grew up on YouTube, watched VidCon's evolution over the years, and based on the one I attended 2 years ago versus this year, it seems to have changed. And not really for the better, in my opinion. VidCon was something that was created for creators, fans, and anyone involved in like social media. And this is kind of what VidCon states on their official about page. VidCon is where digital culture takes center stage as the world's leading digital creators, platform innovators, and their fans converge in one place. It is the largest celebration of digital content creation. If you love digital content, you're not alone. Like, really not alone. There are literally millions of people creating content, promoting digital culture, and thinking about the future of the digital media industry and creator economy. VidCon is where everyone involved in that digital magic comes together in real life and in real time. The creators, the fans, the brands, all of us in one place. Fans make new friends and geek out over their fave creators. Creators expand their reach, and groundbreaking industry exchanges happen here. VidCon is the destination for all who dwell in the community of digital creators and content, and we want you, whether you're a creator, a fan, or part of the industry, to be part of it. And they say more, but that's not why I highlighted that. For multiple reasons this year, including like the creator lineup this year versus past years, it seems like the passion is gone, and VidCon is more like catering to certain audiences and people, like children who spend their parents' money, or people with cult followings, or like the cult followings of certain creators. Basically, like it seems like just kind of how social media in recent years has been, where it's like less about the passion of creating a video and more about how can we utilize this medium to get like make the most profit. Like it seems very much like a money grab. As far as this year's lineup goes, I don't know if people get invited to be featured creators or they have to apply, or if it's like a mix of both. Probably a mix of both if I had to assume. But this year's lineup versus past years and what large creators have like formally attended versus don't attend anymore, and like who's attending and who's not attending, I wouldn't be surprised if VidCon's dropped the ball and burned bridges with some of the creators, just from some of the things I've heard and seen. Without naming specific people, there have been situations both this year and in the past where VidCon's done things to like mess with people's meet and greets, or like lie to their creators' fans, or lie to creators, or go as far as to yelling almost, or being very, very stern with the people attending these creators' meet and greets. Which for a conference that's heavily, like, in their words, for both creators and fans, to mess with that fan-creator, like, relationship is definitely an interesting choice. Considering that many creators love having meet and greets and like meeting the people who put them in the position that they're in, VidCon's choices in how they've been like handling these meet and greets can create broken trust with the creators and fans, and so less people in both of these parties would be like interested in attending. Like less people want to go to this because of bad experiences, and without them there would be no VidCon. So yeah, if you catch what I'm trying to say, VidCon heavily centered on fans and creators and whoever else breaking trust with the main people that they want showing up to their event. And like, as I've mentioned, as a person that's like, a lot of who I am is because of social media, it's really sad to see. Like again, VidCon was something I'd like always wanted to go to. My first VidCon exceeded any expectations I had for it, and even if it still had like its like problems because nothing's perfect. But this year was just like kind of plain disappointing for me. Overall, it seemed much cheaper. There were less events to attend, and the ones they did have were on a much smaller scale. Just as an example, Smosh had a VidCon After Dark event on the last day. It was Smosh Pit Live, and it was kind of organized so that this event was done in one of the conference rooms on the second floor, which it was probably one of the biggest conference rooms, but at the same time, it's still just a conference room. It should have probably been on, like, it was still a conference room instead of, like, the main stage. And Smosh is probably one of, if not the biggest channel to attend this year. And that kind of showed when there was a long line of people waiting to potentially attend this event, but couldn't because the conference room very quickly, like, filled to capacity. I was fortunately one of the people that could attend the show, but even when where we were in line, like, everyone around us were still very much questioning whether or not we would even get into the event. And also, like, even where we were in line, the line doubled at least before they even opened the doors to let us in. So there was a lot of people, like, who wanted to attend that event that just straight up did not get the opportunity to. Other things that kind of made it feel a little cheap this year kind of was like the fact that the VidCon app that I had used in the past didn't work. I thought maybe they just didn't update it and weren't using it this year, but then they asked about it in the survey. When I say it could have been a me problem though, admittedly. I don't know if they have like a different app that they were using than the one in the past. When I went to go use the one that they did use in the past, it said, like, if you have an industry track, full access, or speaker ticket and would like to network, please log in using the details from your welcome email. All of the users click continue without login, but it didn't really give me the option to continue without login. Again, I don't know if maybe it was just me or what, but like, and now this app in the past, you would just use it to like look at events and stuff. The way it was organized, it made it like really easy to just kind of go through and see what was going on. Instead, I had to go into Safari, go to the VidCon page, and then start scrolling through a bunch of events that were out of order, or go through the tabs and filter through and then scroll and then maybe see something that maybe I didn't miss. Also, the event area was smaller. I don't know why. But also, without, again, naming any names, one creator that attended passed a comment on stream saying, like, basically that things behind the scenes at VidCon were, like, cheaped out on. And there was a comment made where it was, like, probably a sign that VidCon wasn't gonna last much longer, which as a joke, it was probably, like, a joke. But at the same time, they aren't the only person who kind of noticed this, like, what VidCon was becoming and had a thought like that. I also wanted to mention the security measures that were very disorganized and inconsistent this year. VidCon gives out, hold on. So the way that VidCon does their, like, security is that on that first night when you do your whole, like, check-in registration, you get your pass. They also give these little, like, wristbands, right? And basically the way that they work is that they have, like, something built into them where you keep it on, and you can, when you go through security checkpoints to get into the event and out of the event, basically they have to be, like, scanned. I don't know how they did it in 2024, but when I went in 2023, they just had these, like, little, like, big physical scanners just off to the side where you can walk in, tap your bracelet, and, like, you'd be good. And then when you want to leave, you go to a security checkpoint, tap, and leave. And the way that they work is that basically their system that they had would like check them in and out, and so that's how they kind of kept track of people. This year, instead of those scanners, they had like little phone scanners where it's like you walk up and then a person would be like, hey, you have to give me your wristband. They would hold it up, scan it, and then they'd be like, okay, all set, and then whatever. The problem with that is that basically the checkout wouldn't work half the time. So what I mean by that is that when you would like exit the event, they would scan the bracelet so the system could note that I wasn't in the event anymore. Despite being checked out, the system would still have me marked that I was there. So on multiple occasions, I would leave to go do whatever, like go to my hotel room, come back, whatever. When I would come back, they would have to check me back in. And the problem with that is that whatever's going on with their system, when they would check me in, they'd be like, oh, hold on, wait a second. And then they would have to go into their little phone scanner, hit something, check me out, go back to their original thing, and then check me back in. It kind of like, it just made it really inconvenient, especially if like you have people doing checkout to then check people in. So then when you go to check people in, you should just scan and let them go. Anyway, there's also a lot of inconsistencies about where you could enter or exit the event. I don't remember if they had signage or not, but it would be like they had certain tents or fence openings where people would be like, oh, you can enter through here, exit through there, and then when like minutes later they can be like, oh, you can't go through here, you have to go to this, and then you go to the place where they told you to go, they'd be like, no, you can't go here, you have to go to here. Security would say one thing, security would also say something different. The way that they kind of had that organized was kind of like, it sent like a lot of people on like wild goose chases or just straight up waste time and be like, go here, no, go here. And I would see like different groups of like people like just all at the same time trying to figure out where they're supposed to go because they were being given bad info. I don't know why they decided to ditch the old wristband scanners that they had before, because that seemed like the most efficient and technologically sound way to do that, but I could be wrong. Especially because with those, you could enter and exit through the same checkpoint. If I remember correctly, it was 2 years ago. This video is gonna be so fucking long. Going back to meet and greets for a second, the way that they were done this year was pretty interesting to me. In the past, they did it so it was like a lottery. Attendees could go and put whatever meet and greets they wanted to attend in order of most interested to least interested. Whatever algorithm they had would then use that in whatever inventory they had for meet and greets, and like it would just like give people 3 different meet and greet opportunities. This year, it was so that the way they did it was so that attendees could just go in. They had different inventory drops. They could just go in, pick whatever 2 meet and greets they wanted to go to, and they would have like a little schedule. The old lottery method, I can see the issues where somebody would have where it's like, I'm only going here because I want to meet this person, but now I'm not meeting this person because I didn't win that. But at the same time, that kind of seemed the most fair to me. I'm pretty open-minded about this whole thing, like specifically. I don't know why they got rid of this method, but when I heard about the way that they were doing it this year, my main concern was like what if I go to sign up for meet and greets this year, but I don't get it because they ran out of inventory space or inventory slots? Or like, what if I sign up and then it sells out before my friend can sign up, and now I have this meet and greet that I don't want to ditch my friend for? And the only reason I bring this up is because with the old lottery like way they were doing it, they had like options so that people could like be with their chaperone, or like they could do like a buddy system where it's like you put in your friend's information and then they would get the same why are there so many flies? You put in your friend's information, they would get the same meet and greet schedules as you, basically. It ended up, for the most part, working out fine. They had inventory slots for the meet and greets I wanted to attend, which were pretty popular meet and greets, so I was able to attend those. But I feel like it kind of led me to believe that VidCon was almost expecting a smaller crowd this year. And I feel this way because I feel like if the new method were to run into issues, it would be because there would be too many people attending. But I could be wrong. Again, this is one part I'm very open-minded about. One more thing that I wanted to talk about, which is less about VidCon itself and more so about a pattern I noticed about the different brands and platforms that were being represented there. A lot of them, like YouTube, TikTok, etc., were pushing very much for the use of generative AI. And besides all of like the obvious issues with it that a lot of people bring up, I also have a lot of thoughts and issues personally with it. I don't know how much I'm gonna go into it here. I know I plan on making like a TikTok just talking about my thoughts and feelings on it. My thoughts and feelings on generative AI. But to put it simply right now, I'm very much a person that doesn't believe that generative AI should be used in creative mediums. I think that it takes a lot of humanity and soul out of the things that should have those two very important things. It kind of makes it so that people don't have to try to practice like thinking, critical thinking, or like empathy, which are very important skills to practice if we want to be able to function as a society. And I can see how people will try to argue in favor of it by saying like, oh, it makes being a creative more accessible to people. And trust me, I'm all for like accessibility and people being creative. It's, to me, being creative is like one of the things that makes us human. But this is not the way to go about it. Again, these are skills that need to be practiced. I think that when generative AI is used for creative mediums, it's like a quick fix that uses a lot of physical resources that we need as a population to survive. I also feel that it heavily contributes to that whole idea of social media becoming passionless and more how can I make money from this? That whole idea I was talking about earlier. To me, pushing for the use of generative AI at VidCon of all places is like giving advice to a bunch of aspiring artists to write some words on a canvas, have it mass generated, or like not mass generated, put some words on a canvas, have it mass produced, and then sold at Hobby Lobby. Another point I want to make is that YouTube announced weeks after the event that it was essentially not going to be rewarding people who use generative AI to make certain kinds of content, which I found quite interesting. Again, I could be wrong in how I interpreted that. I think a lot of people kind of interpreted it that way, though. I understand that the kind of AI use that they're, like, pushing against and what they were, like, pushing towards people using at the conference are, like, two different types of content and different levels of, like, AI garbage. And I applaud YouTube for cracking down on, like, the whole, like, crazier, lazier examples of AI use. But I feel like this is one of those instances where they shouldn't be picky about what they'll promote and what won't be allowed. If they want people to have more like authenticity and less like lazy garbage content being made, they shouldn't promote any type of generative AI in the first place, because people are going to start in one place and take it however far they want. If you give a mouse a cookie, it's gonna ask for some milk, and if you know anything, you know where that's gonna go. When I was writing the script, I ended up going way more into my thoughts on AI than I wanted to, but it's something that I personally feel is incredibly dangerous, and like more so in the long term than I think people can realize or will acknowledge. Anyway, to kind of close things off and get back to the topic at hand, I'm not trying to shit on VidCon, but as somebody who has literally dreamt of attending VidCon as a featured creator since I was a child, it's a bit disappointing to see what happened to it, and I only want it to get better, but I don't think it will get better until they, one, get their shit together, or two, bring it back to that message of VidCon being where everyone involved in that digital magic comes together in real life and in real time, and all the other stuff they were saying on that about page, because I don't believe that's where it's at anymore, and them saying that feels very inauthentic. It could also be reaching its natural demise too, which could be just really sad, but you know, what are you gonna do about it? If you've watched this far, I genuinely appreciate it. This video is probably longer than I originally thought it would be, but I had a lot to say. I know I say I appreciate people watching however far in all like my other videos at the end, but like I mean it, and I mean it there too. But like, becoming a YouTuber content creator has been like a dream of mine for more than half my life at this point. So if you watch any of my videos, I'm like, thank you. Yeah. Woo. As of my time recording this, I have 10 subs, and I know like half of y'all. And like, I don't know how many of you guys actually watch my videos, but I'm still like, yeah. Like 10 isn't a lot, but it's still like number. But yeah, in this instance, I want to know that if I'm seriously talking about something and like getting on my metaphorical soapbox for something, it's probably something I feel very deeply and like passionate about, even if it's something as small as a social media conference, or like as big as me thinking generative AI is destroying the human race in more ways than one. Anyone who knows me personally knows that my behavior typically is very either like casual or incredibly unserious and like goofy. So for me to be very serious about something and have something to say, it's probably important. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you for listening. I know I strayed from my original topic a little bit, but if there's like an actual message to be taken from this video, I'm gonna get cheesy. If there's a message to be taken from this video, it's that we should all be doing more listening and like talking with others, and practicing empathy, because if we remove the soul from the things that make us human, things are only going to keep going downhill. Anyways, we'll be back to our look at me go. Anyways, we'll be back to our regularly scheduled programming of unserious gaming videos next week. Thanks. That's enough of that.